Today we are going to learn about equivalent fractions. James ate part of a pizza shown in the picture at the right. He said 5/6 of the pizza is left. Cardell said 10/12 of the pizza is left. Who is correct? Before we begin, we need to understand that equivalent fractions name the same part of the same whole. If we look at this pizza over here, we can count that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whole parts. And out of the 6 parts, 5 of them are left. Therefore, 5/6 of the pizza is left. But what if I drew lines? So if I drew a line here and I drew a line here. Now if I counted the parts, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 equal parts. And out of the 12 equal parts, 10 of them are left. Therefore, 5/6 and 10/12 are the exact same fraction. That is what is shown over here. Let's look at the convince me part on the bottom. Mia ate 1/4 of a pizza. Matt ate 2/8 of another pizza. Did Mia and Matt eat the same amount? Explain. So if we have a pizza, I'm going to draw a pizza, and I'm going to separate it into 4 parts. And if Mia ate 1/4, it's going to look like this, 1/4 of the pizza. I'm going to write that down. 1/4 of the pizza. Now, if we took the exact same pizza and we divided it into fourths, but then we divided each fourth into 2 more pieces. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. Now we have 8 pieces. And out of the 8 pieces, if Mia ate 2 of them, it's going to be the same thing as 1/4.
Good morning, Boiler Bobcats.
Therefore, 1/4 and 2/8 is the same number. I'm going to write them right next to each other too. And if you multiplied 1 by 2 and 4 by 2, you would get 2/8, which also tells me that it is equivalent. Let's do the guided practice together. Use the area model to explain why 3/4 and 9/12 are equivalent. Well, if we look at this in terms of fourths, I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So out of the fours, pretend those dotted lines aren't there. So out of the fourths, I have 3 of them that are equivalent. Now, if the dotted lines are there, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 slots. And out of the 12, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them are colored. Another way to know that the fractions are equivalent is that if you take the fraction with the smaller digits and you can multiply by the same number to get the fraction with the larger digits, then you know if it's equivalent. So I know 3 times 3 is 9 and 4 times 3 is 12. So since I multiplied both sides by 3, I'm going to darken that up again, I know that I have an equivalent fraction. Number 2, are 4/5 and 4/10 equivalent fractions? Explain. Well, if I write down 4/5 and then I write down 4/10, am I multiplying by the same number to get the other fraction? Well, I'm multiplying 4 times 1 to get 4 and 5 times 2. Since I'm multiplying different numbers, they are not equivalent fractions. Make sure that you write this sentence in your book. they are not equivalent fractions because I had to multiply different digits to get to the other fraction. For example, to get from 4 to 4, I multiplied by 1, but to get from 5 to 10, I multiplied by 2. Since they are different numbers, they are not equivalent. Number 3, write an equivalent fraction to 2/3. I am going to write number 3 down here. Make sure you write this in your math book. So if I have 2/3, all I have to do is multiply both numbers by the same digit. You can use any digit you want. Let's multiply both sides by 5. So if I multiply both sides by 5, 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 5 is 15. Therefore, 2/3 is equivalent to 10/15. Now let's write an equivalent fraction for, I'm going to write 4 down here, to 6/8. This time, let's multiply both sides by 4. Okay? And if you see that you're multiplying both sides by 4, you're multiplying it by a whole. So any number times itself is going to be the same number, even if it has different digits. So 6 times 4 is 24, and 4 times 8 is 32. Therefore, 6/8 and 24/32 are exactly the same number. Number 5, find the missing number. Well, we have 2/4 over here. And how many 8ths would that equal? Well, I had to multiply 4 times 2 to get 8, so 2 times 2 is 4. And that is your missing number. And down at the bottom, we have 1/3 and blank over 6. Well, I know 3 times 2 is 6, so 1 times 2 is 2. You guys can do this. Just make sure you multiply the top and bottom by the same number and you will get an equivalent fraction. Do all the problems on page 413 and then come show me.